In the Links project, you're going to create a basic home page for all of your other projects, and then you're going to upload this to the internet, to your server, so that you can view it from anywhere in the world that has the internet. So a few things you're going to have an H1 up top with a Google font applied somewhere in your site, probably to your H1. You'll have a picture of you. You'll have a horizontal rule here. You'll have a paragraph about yourself. You're going to have two external links that go away from your site. And because they go away, when you click on them, they'll open up in a new tab like this. And then you'll have an H2 for your projects. You may or may not need to practice H2 as well. But below that, H2, you're going to have a bulleted list, an unordered list that links to all of your different projects. When you click on them, they open up. You'll also have a back to the top link at the bottom. It will take you back up to the top when you click on it, and you'll put some sort of background image and color into the project itself. So let's look at how to do this. First thing we'll do is go ahead and start a new file, and we're going to go ahead and save this as right off. Now this is going to be your home page for all of your other projects, and because of that, you're going to name it index. When you type in a web address on the internet, it goes into a folder basically, and it looks for the file called index. It's all lowercase, then put in .html. And I'm not going to put this in any of these folders, not even the links folder. I'm just going to put it right here, outside of all these folders. And now that we've got that, you can see it's index.html. We next need a skeleton. So instead of typing it in, I'm going to use this extension. I'm going to put full skeleton in. I don't really need this JavaScript stuff, so we'll take that out. But we've got a skeleton. We don't need the style sheet link yet in the course. So what we need to do next is to go and put in your name, and then you can put in the project name. All right, so it's looking good. So I'll go ahead and launch this so it's side by side so we can see what's going on. And we'll start building. So first thing we're going to need here is an H1. And you go ahead and put your name. Something like this. Save that. You see it shows up as an H1. That's great. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and put in a background color and image. So let's do that next. So if you look in my folder, I've already went and found some. I have a picture of myself in there. I've got a texture. I've got a background. Already there in the same folder as my original index file. But right now I'm not working on that file. I'm working on the file here. So I'm going to need to tell it to go into the links folder where I've saved it. It might be even easier if you decide to use a background image that is already on the internet, and you can just use that link instead. I'll use this one for now since I've already got it downloaded. So to do that, I'm just going to come here in the body tag so it shows on everything. And we'll do the style equals quotes. And we're going to do a background image. And for the image, we're going to go URL. And the URL where this thing lives is just called background. Actually, it's in that folder called, think of where your files are at in relation to your folder. So I'm in this 3.5-links, and then inside of that it's called background.jpg, it looks like. So we're going to put in 3.5 links, and inside of there we've got a background JPEG. So there that is. If I save it, you can see it shows up. This disappears because it's black up in the corner. We'll fix that in a minute. And then next I'm going to put a semicolon to close it, and I'm actually going to put a background color in as well. The reason you do that is in case the background image breaks, so you can actually see a similar color and your text doesn't disappear. So for this, we're going to put in, let's put in black for a background color in case it breaks. That way, if this image happens to break like this, see it still turns black. So there that is. Next thing, let's go and put in a Google font. So to do that, we're going to go to fonts.google.com. One that I already looked up that I want to use is called Architect's Daughter. There it is. So I'm going to hit the plus. And you can add as many of these as you want. We're just going to use one for now. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this, and I need to take this, and I'm going to paste this into the head tags up here in the behind the scenes stuff. So maybe right here is great. So I'll paste that and hit save. And then next I need to use the font family wherever I want the font to change color, which will be, in my case, I'm going to change my H1. So I will take this and copy it. And then here in the H1, we'll paste it right there. You still can't see it because it's sitting in the background. So we're going to also give it a color of white, and it's starting to show up. Next, I'm going to go ahead and center the H1. So after the font family, after the color, before the quotes, we'll put a space. We're going to do text align, and we'll make it centered. Save that, and you can see it centers. And I'm also going to make it bigger as well. So let's go ahead and put a font size in. There it is. And let's see how big this looks. Nice and huge. That looks great. Okay, so we'll call that part good for now. Next, we're going to put in a horizontal rule below the H1. So I'm going to come down here, put in an HR tag just to kind of break the page up a little bit. And then we'll start everything below that. So I'm going to go ahead and put a comment in so I know what I'm doing here, just so you can see how to do an HTML comment. We're going to put in image of me. So there's a comment just to leave myself some notes inside of it. And this is going to be an image which lives in the same place as the other things did. So I'm going to put an image source, the source of the image, where the image lives, and that will also be in that same folder in my links folder. I had a profile picture, and I go ahead and close that, and I save it, and it looks huge. So now I need to change the size just a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put a height in of 100 and let's say 80 pixels. I save that, and you can see it shrinks it down to a good size. As long as you don't put a width in, it will automatically make them proportional. So that works out well. So that looks good. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and put in a paragraph. So I'm going to put a space down here. So I've got a paragraph here, and in that paragraph, go put some things about yourself. Just for time's sake, I'm going to put in some filler text, and that's a lot of filler text. So let's just do something like that. Let's save it, and you can see it shows up, but once again, I can't see it. So I'm going to go into the paragraph here. I'm going to put some style. And you can see that shows up now. All right, so once that's done, we're going to make this go and float up next to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the image. These are block elements, so they automatically stack in blocks. We want to make them become inline elements or float next to each other, sit next to each other. So we're going to go next to the picture here, and I'm going to put in style. And we're going to float this to the left. And as I save it, you'll see it actually takes it out of alignment so that this can float up next to it. They're sitting right next to each other, really close. So I'm also going to put in some margin on the left side of the picture. So to push it away, push the next element over, and we'll do 10 pixels. Save that, and you can see it pushes it away. Actually, that was the left side of the picture, so I want to put in the right. You can see it kind of puts a space there between it. That looks great. Okay, now we're going to come down below this, and we're going to put in an H2, and we'll call this projects. And I save it, and I still can't see it as well because it's black. So I'm just putting in a color here so that way you can see it. And you'll notice it went up here top too. I actually want it to come down here, but since this picture is pulled out of alignment, It's pretending like it's not there, so it's just pulling everything up until it gets below the picture. So I actually want this not to be affected. So we'll have to clear the float from this down. So actually on the same spot, I'm just going to put in a clear. Whoops, put in a clear, and we're going to clear, you can clear the left, right, or both. We'll just do both to make it easy. And I do that, and it pushes that down. So projects, let's go ahead and do a little bit of styling to this. We want to put a border around it, put a background color on it. So we've got white as a color. So let's put a background color on it. And for this background color, we'll use hexadecimal code. So put in a hashtag, and then let's see, 5DA FFF. See what that works out as. Got some nice blue color, and then we're going to do a border as well. Now remember, on a border, you need 3 parts: a size, a color, and a style. So let's say 3 pixels, dotted for the style, and for the color, we can do white. Save it, and you'll see that goes around that nicely. Now, let's actually push that down. So the H2, we're going to do margin top. So the top of the H2, it's going to push it down. So let's do 20 pixels. See what happens. Nothing, because that's been floated. So let's put in a whole bunch more. See if it starts to push down. Still doesn't. 200. Okay, it's going to start pushing it down. So I don't know, 150 maybe. Okay, it looks like a decent amount of space. Now, next thing is below that, we're going to put an unordered list. So you put UL tags, and then inside of that, each bulleted item is going to be a list item. So we will just name the projects however they were. So let's go back to here and look at what the projects are all named. Go find your file. You should have it. So we got HTML skeleton, basic tags, colors and fonts. So let's start to put those in. I'm going to hit Control D and just duplicate those a bunch of times so I don't have to retype it every single time. Basic tags, colors and fonts, images and iframes. Now, you'll notice this is red because you're not supposed to use this in here. You need to use a character entity, which actually start in an ampersand like this, and they end in a semicolon. So if I put in and I hit save, that should show me that. I can't see this yet because I also need to put in the color, style, color, and you can see that is not actually it, right? So if you're not sure what it is, you can't figure out what the character is, you already know it starts in an ampersand and it closes in a semicolon, but character entities can be a lot of different things. There's hundreds and thousands of them. So we'll put in HTML character entity, and then we'll put in and it will give us a whole list of things. So you can come here, it'll show you a giant list of what you can put in, and there's even more than this, but you're like, oh, there's the and. So it's actually ampersand, so it's AMP. So you come back in here, you put in AMP, you hit save, and you can see it turns into an and sign there. And it's actually functioning here, but you can see it just gives you red showing you that it's actually not supposed to be that way. There you go, those all work now, so you've got your list. Last thing you really need to do here is make these links so they're actually going to work. So you're going to want to reference this. So keep in mind, this is your file, this is your index file. So you're going to need to tell it to go into whatever your folder name is to get to it. So for my HTML skeleton, I need to go into 3.1-HTML skeleton, into that folder, and I need to look for this file, 3.1-HTML skeleton.html, and it will open up that file. Same thing for the next one. Go into this folder, tell it to open up that. So here's how we'll do it. Inside of the list item, I'm going to put an A tag for a link, and then I'll put an href, hypertext reference, to tell it where the file is that I want to open. And then I'm going to put the closing anchor tag or link tag after the text. So I save it, you can see it's now a link, but it doesn't go anywhere yet. When I click on it, it doesn't do anything. So now I need to tell it where to go. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to start putting in 3. So let's do 3.2 for basic tags. So we'll go into that folder, and then the only file in that folder currently is this one. So we'll click on that, hit save, and you can see when I click on it, it actually goes to that file. I don't have any back buttons here, so I'm going to actually have these open up in their own new tab. So to do that, after the quotes, you're going to put in target equals quotes, and then inside you can put underscore blank. When you click on that, that opens up in a new tab, so you can just close the tab and you're back. Now the only additional thing you need to add to your site are some links. To add those links, you'll basically do the same thing we did here. You'll just find where you want to put them. I'm going to put mine up here. So after the paragraph, before that H2, put a couple spaces. I'm going to put in a href, and I'm going to go ahead and just close this right now. I'm going to go to our class website, and then I'm also going to just hit Control D and duplicate that. I'm going to have another link, and that link's going to go to W3 schools as a reference. So to get there, we go find the class site. Go ahead and just copy this and paste it. And then you'll do the same thing for W3 schools. And there it is. Take the link, copy it, and you put it in there and you paste it. And then you'll notice that when I click on those, they're going to open up once again. They're going to go away from our site, which we don't want. So I can take that same target underscore blank, and I'll just take that same thing. I'm going to copy and paste it into both places. And now when I click on those, they're actually going to open up in a new tab. Right? The links are purple. They're hard to read. If you wanted to change that, you could. So you'd go here after the target blank, put in the style, and you put in color. And you save that, and you can see that link now turns white. Okay, so that is basically how you do the project. So have fun, make them look good. Feel free to choose your own colors, your own backgrounds, and things like that.